Well, hello there. I'm Jen Jackson, mother of 11 beautiful children. While my life is filled with wonder and adventure, it can sometimes be laced with confusion and what feels like chaos. Can you relate? My goal is to point out that while motherhood may have its moments of difficulty at times, it can also be beautiful and marvelous. As a mother, you have a superpower that cannot be duplicated. You are the true Captain Marvel. Welcome to episode number 25 of Marvelous Motherhood with Mama Jen. Today, I'll be continuing on my series about the ages and stages of motherhood, discussing today tweens and teens. For the tweens, I'm ranging from the ages of 9 to 10 years old, all the way up to 12 years old, from 9 to 12 pretty much. For tweens, they have a few major milestones during those ages. They're approaching and reaching puberty, which is their physical changes. As far as their intellectual changes, they're asking more questions. And as far as their emotional milestones and changes, they tend to be more passionate about things. So I'll go through each one based on my own experiences and observations as one who has gone through that age myself, but also as the parent of many children who have gone through those ages. First, their physical changes. I always advocate, as you may have heard in my other episodes, I always advocate for parents talking to their children about puberty and sex and reproduction as early as 6 years old, way before they actually reach those milestones. That way, when they do reach those milestones, it won't be as scary or confusing. It may still make them nervous or uncomfortable when they reach those stages, but they won't be confused about what's going on. A girl should not be getting the birds and the bees talk when she gets her first period and have to be explained what's going on with her body. She should know way ahead in advance. That's the loving thing to do, is to prepare her for what's coming. And a boy should not wake up from his first wet dream, confused about what's happening, embarrassed to talk about it, and not knowing who to go to about what's going on with him. Talk to your children about these things, about the changes in their bodies, the hormones, the thought patterns that will change way ahead of time so they can be prepared. So the major milestones physically that a tween will face is approaching puberty. Intellectually, we in the homeschooling Christian community that teach our children with the classical model, we call the tween stage the dialectic stage. From the ages of 9 to 12, children tend to ask a lot of questions. At this stage, they want to know why. If you give them an assignment to do or a chore to do, they may start to ask, why do I have to do this chore? Why do I have to do it right now? Why do we do things this way? How is this supposed to work? A lot of children who are very gifted in the engineering field with building and working with their hands, they tend to want more challenges. And this age between 9 to 12, you may see your children, especially sons, start to ask to take things apart and put them back together, like an old VCR that you were going to throw away, or an old lamp that you no longer need, or a couple of toys and toy cars. They want to see how they look on the inside. The tween stage is a very inquisitive stage and age for children between the ages of 9 to 12, those tweens. I encourage you as a mother to encourage that curiosity. If you are about to get rid of an old electronic, like an old computer monitor or an old computer tower or an old VCR, and they ask to break it apart, let them. Give them a safe place to be able to do it, like maybe the backyard, on the concrete ground, or on the porch, or at a table, and just tell them to keep all of their tools in one area and keep the little ones away. But please encourage your children's curiosity. During that dialectic stage, they're not only asking why certain things about what they have to do, but they're trying to understand the world around them. This is, after all, their first time being a tween as well. So everything is new. Their body changes are new. They start to look at their own selves differently. The way that they relate to their friends is also different. As young children just want to play and have fun. They make up games, they run around, and they play. But as tweens, they start to form more relationships. They start to get to know each other on a more personal and deeper level at this age. Tweens also tend to ask questions about their religion. If you are a Christian household, they may start to ask, why do we say that we believe what we believe? Why is the Bible the final authority? Why was it necessary for Jesus to die for our sins? Couldn't God have done it a different way? They have lots of questions. And again, I encourage you as mothers to encourage their curiosity. If you don't know the answer, it's very much okay to say, I don't know. Let me look that up with you. But expect those changes when it comes to our tweens. The tweens can also learn to do more responsibilities and chores at home. It's so important to let your children and your tweens have a sense of autonomy as they grow older. Give them some independence and responsibility. Those things will build their confidence as they can see what it is that they're capable of doing. They will also most likely try to challenge you on some of those things and some of those chores if they're brand new. But I encourage you to continue to teach them that although they're getting older, they must still be obedient and respectful to you. But you do respect their curiosity and you're willing to help them understand their world as best you can. Tweens between 9 and 12 years old should be doing chores like washing dishes, cleaning the living room and the dining room, sweeping the floor, washing the tables, cleaning the bathrooms, even doing their own laundry. That's a great age to get them started on those chores if they haven't started already. I encourage you to get them started on those chores if they haven't been doing those already. And remember to continue to have an open communication with your tweens. Let them ask all the questions they have about life. You are the first expert they come in contact with as a mother. You parents, mothers and fathers, you are your children's first teachers. You are your children's best teachers. When they were little, they saw you as the ones who know everything. They saw you as the experts on everything. So continue to be that one that they can come to ask questions and explain things to them. Because as tweens, they are in a dialectic stage and they have a lot of questions. If you have 9 to 12-year-olds at home and they have not been asking you questions about the world around them, they have not been expressing any doubts about the family faith, then they are most likely asking someone else or holding them in. So just have an open dialogue with them every now and then and say, when you go to church, what did you think about the sermon today? What do you think about Sunday school today? Think about when you do their schoolwork, whether you homeschool or they go to school, ask them what their opinions are on what they learned that day and what questions they have. Because trust me, they are forming opinions and they do have questions. The tween stage, that's the age and stage where you know that they are working hard to understand their world. And the best thing you can do for them is be there to answer their questions and guide them with your wisdom and experience. Now on to the teens. The teens will also be having some physical, emotional, and intellectual milestones that they will hit. Physically, if they haven't gone through puberty yet, the teen stage is when they definitely will if they haven't done it during the tween stage. And again, teach your children about puberty, sex, and reproduction when they're younger. So when it happens, they can just come to you and let you know what's going on. If they come to you feeling guilty about a dream that they had that may have been sexual in nature, for example, don't shame them and don't punish them. First of all, you can't control dreams. But whether it's a dream or a thought or a fantasy, they are confused as well. This is their first time being a teen, their first time hitting puberty, and they just need answers. And Trust me, Mom, you do not want their peers to be the expert that they go to answer their questions. Parents, moms, and dads, I implore you, please do not let your children's peers or even their school, and certainly not TV, movies, and video games and social media, be their first experience with learning information about puberty, sex, and reproduction. You should be the first point of contact when it comes to that information. And that's why I say teach it to them as early as 6 years old, because your children will learn about it from somebody, and you want it to be you that learn about it from first. And then remind them when you teach them about it and what's going on with their bodies and things like that, remind them that if they have any more questions, to come to you. And don't let it be a one and done conversation. Even if you choose once a year to bring up this conversation, let them know that at any time during the year, if they have questions or concerns or fears or confusion, to come and talk to you about it. And the conversation will only be awkward if you, the parent, make it awkward. Because young children see you as the all-knowing information giver anyway. So when you're teaching them these things, in their minds, you're just giving them more information about the world around them once again. And to them, that's normal. You are the information giver. You are their first and best teacher. So when your children are teens and they start to go through puberty, just pay attention to what they may need. Your daughters may need sanitary napkins. Your daughters will need a calendar and be taught how to track their periods. Your sons will have to learn how to do their own laundry if they haven't been doing that already, because they're going to be having very interesting dreams during this time in their lives and need to wash their sheets more often than usual. You may have to start to teach your sons about water conservations when they take those infamous long showers for the reasons that we can all imagine, but we don't want to imagine. Just accept that our teens are going through the same stages that we went through, and be willing to share some of those stages and those experiences with your children as they ask their questions. Because even as teenagers, even when they're between the ages of 13 and 19, they will still have questions, because this is still their first time being 13 to 19 years old. And when I mention teens, I include the ages of 18 and 19, because in my opinion, they are still teenagers. They still need guidance. Intellectually, an important milestone for teens is that they need more and more autonomy and independence. If you're going grocery shopping, give your teens a list and have them find the groceries that you're going to purchase as well. Teach them, take them to the market with you and teach them to read the labels on the backs of the goods that you buy to see what's good for them and what's bad for them. Teach them how to shop for themselves. Make sure they're able to do their own laundry. And they can get a job at those ages, 13 to 19. To be completely honest, anything you can do as an adult, your teens can do. If you can wash laundry, they can do laundry. If you can change diapers, they can change diapers. If you can get a job, they can get a job. If you can go grocery shopping, they can go grocery shopping. If you can fix things around the house that are broken, so can your teen. So look for opportunities to let your teens be helpful and be independent. It will build their confidence, but it will also give them hands-on training for the adult world that they are entering in very quickly. Intellectually, they are also entering what we call the rhetoric stage. The tweens have the dialectic stage where they ask lots of questions, but the teens in the rhetoric stages learn to answer those questions. They start to form their own opinions and draw their own conclusions based on the information around them. You may notice that when you have teens and they watch a movie, they don't walk away like they did when they were kids and say, oh, that was funny, I want to watch it again. Usually teens like to analyze the movies that they watch, see what the symbolism is, figure out why the actor chose to portray the character that way. Teens often have their eyes open even more to the world around them. They're usually more self-conscious, not always in a bad way, but usually wanting to wear more things. Like, for example, the girls might want more accessories and jewelry. They might want nicer clothes. The boys might want to start wearing cologne and start asking for proper haircuts more. They're trying to find their community and where they fit in. Intellectually, tweens want to draw conclusions and process the information of the world around them, and they want to be independent. But they still need our wise guidance. So give it to them. Don't turn your teens completely loose out in the world to figure things out on their own. Teach them as much as you can while they are still with you. Emotionally, tweens, I think I skipped that one, but when it comes to tweens, and I mentioned that they usually have big emotions. As their hormones are changing, these 9 to 12-year-olds, they normally have very strong and passionate emotions. When they're happy, they are very happy, excited and giddy, talkative, and sometimes doing silly things. When they're sad, they're very sad, moody. And when they're angry, they're very angry. They might slam doors or yell or get into actual physical fights with their siblings or people at school. Those are normal for tweens. It doesn't mean you have to accept them and that they are allowed to get away with being physically violent, for example, when they get really upset. But it does mean you don't have to try to ask them and yell, what is wrong with you, when they act like that. You can understand that they are acting as a normal tween would because of their big emotions that they're still trying to learn how to regulate. And for our teens, emotionally, they start to calm down with those big emotions. And a lot of times they might hold things in sometimes. But I just encourage you as parents to continue to keep the line of communication open as much as you can. Ask them every now and then, are you okay? How are you doing today? What did you think about XYZ? How was it when you went to so-and-so's house? Always try to engage them in conversation. And it's okay if they talk and talk and talk for 2 hours straight. And it's okay if they give you short one-word answers. As long as you initiate these points of contact with them, they can make a mental note that you are available to speak with them when they need you. Now, all of these things that tweens and teens go through, physically, emotionally, and intellectually, are beautiful. They come with their challenges as we as parents are learning how to navigate being the mother of tweens and teens. But they also come with the beautiful blessing of watching them grow and thrive. And motherhood is marvelous because the Lord God has given us the privilege of not only bringing these beautiful children into the world as newborns, but then to be able to train them into adulthood as they learn about the world around them. Watching our children explore as toddlers is fun, but watching them make sense of their world as tweens and teens is absolutely mind-blowing and beautiful. So what do you think, my fellow sister in motherhood? Leave a comment or send me an email in the description. Don't forget to check out our family books. Walk With Me, a family devotion, written by myself, Jennifer Jackson. Time and Tapestry, a book of poetry that gives life lessons and talk about life experiences. Jackson Family Short Stories, a book of original stories written by myself and many of my children. And also Special Delivery, a book that I've written that chronicles the details of each of their birth experiences. And have a marvelous day, Mama. Enjoy those times with your tweens and teens, watching them grow and thrive. You've got this.